Rogers, arguably the game's best winger, pushes forward up over halfway. Last play now, and there we go, Mark Tipple. Already that wet stuff is causing a few problems.
Right, so we're going to talk about wet weather stuff now. So basically, what do you do? Like, because everyone would admit that a game of touch football in the wet is extremely difficult. It's such a sport where we rely on such sleight of hand, crisp passing, dumping the ball, and you're relying on grip of the ball. Dumping one-handed passing is just so dominant with one hand gripping the ball that a game of wet weather touch can really impact that. So what can you do to get those tries that now you don't have a long ball? Well, this is one great way. It's the late switch. No, they don't get a try here. They do get a repeat set though. But this game here that shows an example. This was a really wet game. It was really muddy and the conditions weren't exactly that great. It wasn't raining during the game. And it's very hard to find footage of games in the rain because normally the camera crew pack up. But let's have a look at this late switch. Now, the reason I say, like, obviously we do late switches in whatever game that you are playing in, but I believe they're very good in the wet weather because your reliance as a defender to recover is based on how much traction you're able to get in your boots, because it involves a big stop spring off the other way, which a lot of players like myself can't even do because we just can't move like that. Now, he's got the ball and he's going to run. This is his player here. You're basically running at the next player because he doesn't want to bite. You want him to bite, so you run at him. He doesn't want to bite, so he'll hang off because he knows that if he bites, it's just an easy pass and he's leaving this guy hanging. If this guy bites, then it's a cutout ball and it becomes essentially a free 4-on-3 if they start biting like that. So they hang off. This player here has to work extra because he needs to make the touch. Otherwise, the dummy half's going to get through the line. So he chases. Now, this is the importance of that line like I was talking about. If he runs here, then this guy's not going to be working so much laterally. He's just sort of going to be flat-footed, making the touch, ready to bounce either way. So the angle's in. He just bites now, but that's fine. Look at how much chasing this player's needed to do. All right, so he's almost accelerating at 100% to make that touch, and only then, right when it's about to be a touch pass, is this player cutting underneath. Now that's very important when you run a late switch. When you release that ball, it is a millisecond, or if you can, but milliseconds, it's so close to you getting touched. Because that's how much commitment that you need from the defense. You need them as close to you as possible, and you need this guy back here pretty deep and running at speed. So it does take a little bit of practice to get the timing right, but you can see here, there's no way he's going to be able to chase in, plant, turn around, and recover to this player who's already running at speed. And you'll notice in the wet weather, might even slip over, and it makes the whole thing, the whole play look even more amazing. Let's have another look at examples of some other late switches. Now, this game was in the dry, but because of the movements in the attack are actually quite, you don't need a lot of traction. There's no big sort of plant push-offs, whereas in the defense you do need it. So it's just a counties play. Now, this is man on. This was done on the link, and the old saying is never dump on the link. So this player here will man on. This player here has got the next player over, and so on. Now, remember that line that I was talking about before? We don't necessarily want to just run at this player and switch because he's flat-footed here. He's got his arms out and he's ready to bounce either way. You really want to take him in, which is away from the camera, and make him just chase in. He needs to turn his hips in and he needs to start chasing. The threat, he believes, needs to be that you're going to run through the gap from dummy half. Well, in this case, you're going to score, which is probably a better thing actually to do. Is if the threat of you scoring's there, then they're going to chase you even harder. So there it is. You can see how he angles his run sort of infield, and he's waiting. He's only just starting to look like he's going to come under now. And this guy's shifted his body over, and he's going to start chasing. And like I said before, this is almost a touch pass. This is almost a simultaneous touch and pass or touch pass, whatever. But that's how late you are delaying that pass, because now all of a sudden you've committed so hard. And if this was wet, you wouldn't be able to push off and try and recover at all. So there's the deep switch. Like that. And we'll just play that through in slow motion, otherwise it'll keep pausing. Run all the way into the line. And the late switch is a pass too, keep in mind. That was a spiral pass. It's not just a pop. Pops are good if you're trying to change angles on the run and stuff like that and there's no defenders near you. But if you want to try and beat someone, it's got to be late and it's got to be deep. Matt Tote was very happy with himself after that play. Let's have a look at another example. We'll play this one through. I like this one. This is actually, as you can see, the ground's torn up a little bit. Probably a little bit damp. This is at the World Cup, and we did get a little bit of rain on some of the days during the World Cup. This is just a sweeper. And he takes off open side. All right, we've got a video on this that's actually a play that's got a high percentage chance of you getting over from half. And this player will take off parallel. These guys here, they've gone from momentum going this way onto the sweeper. Now they've got to turn and pivot and chase the other way. And because their pivot means that they're a little bit behind, they've got to chase extra hard. So there's the turn, there's the pivot. And you can see now, that's when he throws the ball. And he's so close to getting touched. And this guy is at speed. And there's the gap in the middle because this guy was focused on the sweeper. Nice little switch. We'll just go slow motion. Takes off. Switch. Excellent play. Do I have one more example? Not sure. I do. This is from a middle link platform. Same game as the first clip. And they could have scored there if they didn't do the tap on. So this is just a 32 dump for your link or a middle fading for your link. Link's going to pick up, that's your link there. Link's going to pick up the ball and take him short side. So he's running short side. Looking like he just wants to run through from half, which means this guy's got a man on. And as soon as you start manning on and the touch or the middle starts chasing really hard, that's your key to switch deep and as he's getting all the way into the line. So that's how close the defender is going to be. And like I say, that's the key to this, because if he's back here, the defender, too easy to recover. But now up here, you've beaten him. You're around him. And there's nothing really he can do about it, especially on a wet track. And now if he catches that, he's probably in, but look, you see that a fair bit. He can't see what's behind him. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. For all he knows, the winger's coming in and he's going to get smashed in the back, which according to policy, that's what would happen. So can't see that. So if you ever have a game where your link does that, probably cut them a little bit of slack because they're only doing what they're only trying to beat policy, and that's usually what you try and beat. But anyway, that's one common play that you can attempt to practice when you're playing in the wet. Just trying to move teams laterally and get them to sort of stop and just keep moving back and forth. Eventually they'll slip over, or it's just too hard to do in the wet. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, become a member, do all that stuff, and keep watching because we love touch football. See you next time.